like a minute or so prior, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order, Board of Selectmen's meeting, February 5th. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had an opportunity to look over the manifest payroll for February 6th?
Did?
Yep.
Any questions, comments?
Nope.
Someone like to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the manifests for February 5th, 2024, and payroll for February 6th, 2024.
Second?
Okay, motion made by Tim DeBrio, seconded by Steve Welch. Roll call.
Aye, Steve Welch.
Hi, Joe Moore.
Aye, Ben Bartlett.
I, Tim DeBrio.
Public minutes for 1/22/24. Has everybody reviewed those?
Yes, I do have a few changes I would suggest.
Okay.
I'd like to say it seems a lot more detailed than some of the last minutes for
Yeah.
being
So Kelly did these ones.
off. Okay, because I was like, wow, this is like almost every single thing that happened with
Right.
the little things. They're missing. This is like a little book here.
Yeah. So I think when they do them off the video, it's hard to,
Oh.
then if you're in person, I think it's actually a little bit easier to be brief because you're trying to pay attention to
Right.
everything going on. But
Right.
so line 105 and 106.
Okay.
It should say, let's see what possibility there may be to not shut down the road. And I think it should be in quotation. This is all from Chief Woodman,
Okay.
and it's not really in quotes. Should it be in quotes, or should it be paraphrased more?
Oh, she stated it should be in
Yeah.
quotes. So. Any other corrections?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
Line 135.
Yeah.
I think it should say, due to the way the bridge is currently constructed.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Anything else, Tim?
Yeah, I'm sorry. 139, and I'm hoping maybe somebody in this room could clear this up for me. It says he discussed reaching out to District C forces.
He was,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, he was for the highway department, which is, I think it's over in Northwood,
Okay,
about coming to do some assistance on road and stuff,
Okay.
for, in order to help that.
Probably
okay.
not District C, but District 6.
6, well, yeah, I know that's where it was.
Right. So change the C to 6.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
And then line 190, talking about other options for the well replacements. And I said we should consider to developing a standard like the state. I didn't suggest that we should develop a standard.
Right, we should consider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
And then line 312, any discussion about the utility truck at the highway department. It says this is used often, not just for sanding and salt. I think we said it's not used for sanding and salt.
Right.
Yeah, that's not even accurate.
Right. Okay.
So I think we just removed the just and not for sanding and salt. And then my last suggestion was line 317 to 318 is removing leave the non-public session at 9:12. That is for the next motion.
Okay.
How'd you want that to read, Tim?
It just should be removed.
Okay.
Because you're stating it.
Yeah.
Next one.
That was in the next one, so I think it was just copied and pasted.
Okay. Any others, Tim?
No, that was all I had.
John, Steve, do you have any?
Nope.
All right, somebody want to make a motion to accept this as amended?
Can make a motion to accept the minutes of January 22nd as amended.
I'll second.
Motion made by Steve Welch, seconded by John Moore, and roll call.
Aye, Steve Welch.
Hi, John Moore.
Aye, Ben Bartlett.
Aye, Tim DeBrio.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-public minutes for January 22nd, 2024.
Second that.
Motion made by Tim DeBrio, seconded by Steve Welch. Roll call.
Aye, Steve Welch.
Hi, John Moore.
Aye, Ben Bartlett.
Aye, Tim DeBrio.
Okay. Wow, so reports from assigned boards, we can say that budget is done for this season. Planning, probably didn't have much time to go to the one, did you? Anybody?
We haven't had one.
That's why.
Well, we had, oh, sorry, we did, but it was just a recap of the subdivision that's going in off Smoke Street, because they haven't been in front of us in so long. It's been like almost a month and a half that they haven't been in front of us. So we made them come in to do a recap of like project things that we're working on for the subdivision for the reason for the delay.
Okay.
It was a short meeting.
CIP?
No, CIP and Marston have not met since our last meeting.
Okay. Town administrators report. Just had it up here. Somebody have it if they want to read it?
Yeah, I'll start. The recycling center well, Mr. Trant has contacted a few well companies to come out and assess drilling a new well at the recycling center. And the quotes received have been included in our packets. I don't see them in the packets, though. But Mr. Trant just walked in. Would you want to step up and give us a summary of some of the quotes you received? Thank you.
Be sure to state your name and what your job title is for everyone at home.
Alan Trant, property manager for Nottingham, New Hampshire.
Facilities.
Facilities
Yeah.
manager. One and the same for me. For the recycling center,
Yeah, the well quotes.
so we have Gap Mountain, so give me a second here. Which ones did you have printed out?
We didn't, I
didn't see any.
I didn't see any
in my
printed out.
packet.
No.
So it's Capital Well, Gap Mountain, and you have Tasker from previous, from Ellen White, correct?
Correct.
So Gap Mountain needs to do a walkthrough still. He was out sick for the meeting we had scheduled, but that's 11-3 for Gap Mountain.
Not including electrical?
Correct, yeah, electrical and trenching will be done by us. And 13-3 is Capital Well. It's pretty much apples to apples to get us water into the building for these quotes. I don't have Tasker in front of me tonight, but that was 20
I don't have it in front of me either.
something.
It was over 20, though.
It was over 20.
Yeah.
And then how much do we think the electrical will be?
I didn't get any pricing on that yet. That was,
Was that an overall price, or was it priced per foot with an estimated?
Gap Mountain is 300 feet of drilling and 40 feet of casing if needed, but typically it's 40 feet is the starting
When it gets to
distance.
bedrock?
And Capital Well is
You looking for a price,
no, I was looking for the footage.
footage?
Some companies do like a guaranteed water by 400 feet or,
Right.
but Gap Mountain was $16 per foot, up to 300 feet.
And where do they recommend putting it compared to where it is now?
They recommended close to the same spot,
Okay.
but I'm not familiar with the ledge on that property. If we know if it's all been backfilled on that side, then it's good to stay on that side. I think they hit ledge a couple months ago or a month ago when they were clearing out that left side of the property
Yeah.
to fix the driveway there. So if we
That
stay,
wasn't too far down.
that was about 6 inches down, I think, where they hit ledge on the left side. But I think the right side of the property has been all backfilled over time, which is why there was the extension on the well.
Probably.
I don't have much history on that property.
But it shouldn't matter whether they go through ledge or not in the price, right? It should be the same
For the,
per foot.
for the drilling is fine, but for our trenching will be a substantial difference.
Right, you're right.
If we're gonna jackhammer our way back to the building.
Yeah,
But if we can find the old lines, we could probably find the old trench.
Are you gonna have safety measures put in place so this doesn't get hit again?
So I'm sure some waste blocks would be needed around it.
or Jersey barriers or something like that, or.
Yeah,
that's-
I think waste blocks are still around $65 a piece for 4 foot by 2 foot.
Economical.
Yeah, Shea Concrete has them right up the road.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
Any other things that you're bidding on that we should know about while we're here in public?
The back room electrical quotes came in for demo in the back room. And they were pretty similar, around $75 to $90 an hour for the demo portion of electrical.
And that's to cut off the electrical back there and move the panel to inside here?
I think the panel would stay out there, but it would be for getting rid of the hallway, the partition walls, and clear spanning that building again. Getting it down to framing and taking care of the
Pulling the electrical out of the walls.
mitigation. Right,
Okay.
yeah, cutting it back and just leaving some outlets and some lights for for whoever has to work back there to whatever our retrofit is in the future.
Are you talking about the building here or the recycling?
Yeah, back.
Thank you.
So it's estimated at about a week's work is around 6,000 for electrical demo. And that was from 2 different companies.
So if that article passes, we're gonna use some of that money and to take care of it. Just kind of reiterating that to people that.
Right.
We're not spending it yet. It's for something that, if the article passes, that's where some of the money is gonna go.
Right. And the fire department roofing repair for the leak in the ridge cap had a couple screws leaking. So Dover Roofing got us pricing for that. And replacing the roof on the old firehouse. Not that it's
That one over there.
Not that it's immediately needed, but just while they were here, we were looking at all the different buildings. They suggested getting rid of the metal roof and going to new plywood sheathing and asphalt shingles, architecturals, on the old firehouse.
Interesting.
Assuming that's more cost effective.
We're just not sure what's underneath that metal roofing until we get up in the attic there with a couple flashlights and see what the framing looks like. But as far as replacing the trim and siding with the fascia boards and rakes, might be beneficial to switch back to an asphalt shingle there.
But what's nice, at least that, thank you for doing that. So now we can at least plan for, knowing that this might be an expense that if we have the money over there, it's, before, we'll make you obviously go back and do bids on it, like, but at least we have an idea of what it might cost, you know, in general purpose.
And for the gym floor here at the town hall, Erickson Foundation Solutions came back with jacking up the slab so that we can replace the vinyl flooring that needs to be replaced from the repairs from the water line that broke last year.
And what is their method of jacking it up?
2-part foam, so epoxy.
Okay. What's the life expectancy of that?
I didn't dig into it that closely,
Okay.
but that's the same company that did our library sidewalk.
Okay.
Erickson Foundation Solutions.
Okay.
And I can pass these things off to you guys in email.
Yeah, that way we can dissect it more to what it is, but just so everybody knows at home, we aren't spending this money yet. Not saying we're not going to, but we're not spending it yet until we get a bigger thing, but it's for us to get a good idea of what things are gonna cost. So if the articles get approved, we can try to find best ways to expenditure the money in order to help start better maintenance on our town facilities. Yeah, prioritizing
Right.
the maintenance of what we need to do for our town buildings after our report that we got from our buildings committee.
I'm sure you can confirm this, but Orkin was here last week. They were working on the building. They were sealing up the back, was that correct? And other possible crevices that which they can get into the building, rodents? Orkin? Were you here for that?
I don't handle the pest
Okay.
side of
Well, I
things.
saw them walking around, so I'm sure that they were doing their part. They were here for a couple days.
The town administrator still handles the,
Okay. All right. Well, she's not here. I didn't know if you had any insight on that, so.
we have a scheduled meeting for the end of this week,
Okay.
Ellen and I.
Okay.
I can drop these hard copies off to you guys tonight.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Any other?
That covers what you got?
Yeah, that's everything so far that's come back, and I think a lot
Good.
of companies are kind of recouping from the holiday, and it seems to be business is back to usual for contractors, and
So, I know one of the things we had talked about towards the end of last year was moving or increasing the rec space, office space for where we are now, and then potentially moving over there. Have you started any of the research on what that potentially would look like if we're able to use some of the funds from rec revolving and?
I don't have any figures for that
No,
yet.
okay.
We've talked about it. I've spoke to a couple contractors for electrical needs and in outfitting the office cubicles and things like that. Where you guys are sitting now would be the cubicles, and they pretty much plug together now, so we don't need outlets, and it all kind of daisy chains from one cubicle to the next. That handles internet and power.
And then we move this room in the back, left corner, was the goal, the meeting room.
Right.
So I guess timeline process, what do you think as far as if we get approved for the money to tie up the back of the building, when do you think we could potentially start on this next project? Would it be middle of summer or?
Probably July.
Okay.
I'm not sure what time's the best for town hall to be under construction, but
It's never a good time. But we gotta work around it, so, good. So July.
Yeah.
So
media room 2, conference room 2 would be our new media room for here.
In the interim, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
This building is widely used during the summer for rec. So, but we'd make sure we have a good conversation with them before that.
Yeah.
I think Courtney should be involved in a little bit of the design, what would work for her.
They already have one?
She-
They do have a,
She handed off a drawing to me.
yeah,
Okay,
Gary had done it.
Okay.
good.
Wow, we can move along with that. Great.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm good from
Okay.
this
Any other
standpoint here.
No?
I'm good.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Sure, I'll bring these up.
Thank you, sir.
All right, oil tank at the old fire station. The oil tank at the old fire station did not pass inspection necessary for urban oil to fill it. It was last filled in 2014, hence why the building wasn't used much. Initial cost to replace it from urban oil was in excess of $4,000. Town was able to acquire a new 275-gallon tank, just over $1,000 of the installation. And installation of this tank was donated by a resident in town, so we were able to save some money there. For those of you who haven't heard, we have a new position coming open. It's with great regret that I announce that the resignation of Administrative Assistant Assessing Coordinator Kelly Delaire, effective this Friday. Advertisement for this position vacancy is underway, and I would like to add that it's been a pleasure working with Kelly. She's been integral to the efficient operation of the town office and will be sorely missed. Thank you, thank you, Kelly, for all your years of service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Deliberative session recap: an efficient meeting was held, although there were some audio and technological issues experienced. Preparing a voter's guide to be posted to the town's website, which will additionally inform the voters and provide, we as a board will provide any more recommendation feedback for what we think will be helpful for the voters. Follow up on questions raised during the deliberative session. The following information in response to the Ambulance Special Reserve Fund, SRF. 2023 expenses is $32,000. 2023 revenue received, $70,000. Ambulance SRF balance, $235,000. Special revenue funds, RSA, special revenue funds, while exempt from lapse, cannot be spent without appropriation. They can only be spent after town meeting vote for the purpose of connected with the facility or program generating the fees. There is no authority in the law to appoint agents to expend special revenue funds. Tim, you want to?
Absolutely. The 2022 financial statements were finalized just after the first of the year, and the field review for 2023 audit was scheduled to start mid-January, but was delayed until mid-February due to weather conditions.
Anybody else have these? John, you want to? Seth Peters' appointment has been postponed.
Yeah.
Until next meeting.
I didn't even, I was, again, I wasn't at my normal job
Okay.
today, so I'm a little behind on this, so I'm just trying to, that's why I was just reading what Seth Peters was looking for.
It's in regards to getting right away to his property so he can log.
And he'll be at the February 20th meeting to discuss that.
So we can go more into detail then, if the rest of the board is okay with that.
Well, he's pretty much all the other,
Yes, that whole,
everything that goes on is him, so that's why I was.
We received a letter here from Owen
Friend Gray.
Friend Gray in regards to his expertise.
He's an engineer for the city of Manchester. He's been a lifelong resident of the town of Nottingham. And he's introducing a new company that he'll be having his own new company where he'll be offering engineering, engineering for projects, with his background and expertise. And he just wanted the town to know that in the future.
What's his name?
Owen Friend Gray. He actually sits on the budget committee. He was actually the guy who was reading the budget at the,
there's one spot you skipped over, Ben. The policy review and update. The safety manual presented in the packets that we have here was created by the Joint Loss Safety Management Committee almost 2 years ago, but was never actually adopted. This manual has been sent to Primex for their review and recommendations and should be ready for adoption at our next meeting. And then additionally, the no smoking policy, also presented by the Joint Loss Safety Management Committee, should be considered for adoption to also be included in the town's personnel policy update, which I believe we talked about last fall, and should be a standalone policy in order to enforce on the town properties reference. This can hold over until the next meeting as well.
Okay. That completes the town administrator report. Action items review from last meeting. Deliberative session. Right. All right, we have no assessing.
Nope.
General business, assessing, deliberative session review. Questions, comments?
I thought Dawn and her team did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And Deanne as well and her team of folks, so we appreciate all the time they put into it, making sure it goes smoothly.
it was nice to see the turnout the size of it was too.
Yes.
I've been at town meetings where there wasn't even that many people, and that was a town meeting
Oh,
where we were
really?
actually voting on stuff. Where, not just talking about them.
Felt like it was more lightly attended than the previous year, but.
And just, I mean, talking about that business too, anybody in the audience or anybody that's listening on TV, it looks unfortunate that nobody has signed up for the Nottingham Planning Board. There was 2 positions open for 3 years, and nobody signed up. The position is a very crucial position for the town and its planning for subdivisions, roads, future endeavors for the town. So, again, it meets sometimes twice a month, every second Tuesday, Wednesday. It's definitely something if you're interested. I've been on it for years, and it is, you learn a lot, and it is very knowledgeable to see what the growth of the town is, new developments that are coming in. I find it enjoyable to be on it, but maybe it's just me. But if somebody's looking, if you didn't run, you could run as a write-in. Or you can actually come to one of the planning board meetings and ask to be appointed for a member.
Perfect, thank you.
Oh, it's a shame to see that nobody signed up.
How many members would be on the committee if these 2 positions aren't filled? 3?
Well, then we might have, again, not official yet, but we might have somebody else that might be leaving the board, so we could be in a rough situation with making quorums.
How many are on the board?
7? I think I know that off the top of my head, because I sit there all the time with all of them.
Trying to picture them all up here.
Yeah. Yes, 7, and we have an alternate.
Anything else? All right, well, policy reviews, as we stated, the smoking policy will be gone over with the other next meeting. It's pretty late today. You have something, John?
Just give me 1 quick second.
Yep.
So I think the point of the smoking policy was to pull it out of the personnel policy and make it a
Standalone.
standalone policy.
And we could review it tonight.
Oh, certainly have time.
I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward how it reads.
Talking about the smoking policy?
Yeah.
That's what I'm reading right now, just to Who will be enforcing the policy?
That was going to be my question, especially when it comes to, I mean, I don't think you'd have an issue maybe in the front of the building if you have it posted and first couple of people you see smoking right outside the building, you say something to and they walk away, but the public fields, so I can say for baseball and softball, there are a number of people that will smoke cigarettes in the parking lot while the games are going on. And again, unless it's widely posted and signed, people will continue to do so. And again, the enforcement question.
Right. The
Same thing with
proposed
over at Marston during flag football and,
takes out the designated smoking area, so it would eliminate it altogether.
well, there wouldn't be it says there's a no smoking policy within and around all buildings, playgrounds, town, trails, public fields, and town vehicles.
Period.
Period. No designated.
I know, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Or I see it as it could be, I don't smoke, so it's not a problem for me, but. So maybe we do need to digest it for a
I
while.
think so, because I know with workplaces, I mean, there's some workplaces in New Hampshire that don't allow smoking on premises, and people have to leave to go smoke. I don't think with the size of our staff, that's something that I would recommend doing.
So now we've got a shortage in the office and all that, yeah.
You know, the asterisk part was this committee also recommends the town purchase signage for all town-owned facilities that represent the above messaging. Well, it looks like that's every building.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean, that's every building the town has, we have to find signage for. I don't know what a sign costs, it says, I mean, is it going to be?
That would have been an Alan question. Is he still here? You know what the signs would cost?
I mean, it can't be that, but I mean, how many do we need? We're gonna need like 30 of them, or we're gonna need,
No, I think you'd have one for most of each building.
but you wanna post them outside on the building?
Are these no smoking?
Yeah, again, it's probably, it's not like the hugest issue around, but it's just something that's,
Well, I think the bigger piece, I know, you know, where other people, like, for instance, the front of this building, if people are standing in front of the building smoking cigarettes, I think non-smokers would appreciate not having to walk through a plume of smoke.
where is, you can't tell them to sit on this side of the
Well,
building.
in this policy,
Fire
it's,
station, you can't tell them to go, I mean,
in this situation, is no, that's what I'm saying, should there be a designated area? Rather than no.
well, that's,
The current policy says this is a designated area, but the change is that it's just no. Sure if there is a designated area right now. Says that.
Right.
policy, let's make it correct, so they're not readdressing.
Sounds to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't keep.
yeah, but I think we
kicking
just
down
need to
the
get some information from Ellen as far as the. Should be flexibility.
No?
No?
Okay. Postpone until the next meeting. So, can open this up to. Wish to come up, please come to the table, state your full name and address.
I'm Doug Bates. I live at 30 Lamprey. I wish to file a complaint against the town attorney. At Saturday's deliberative session during the period for addressing other business, I attempted to place a motion on the floor for a vote. Due to erroneous legal advice the town attorney gave the moderator, I was prevented from doing so. This was particularly egregious if the topic of my motion happened to be something about the town attorney. Thus, the attorney's decision was not only faulty, but self-serving too. The New Hampshire Municipal Association says that citizens have a right to bring up, discuss, and call for a vote upon any topic they wish to with the town's legislative body. While such a vote is not legally binding, it is informative. The association provides this guidance in their handbook for moderators and on their website for voters. I've printed out the citations here and will provide them to you. While this right is seldom exercised, on Saturday, the town attorney illegally prevented me from exercising my right. Obviously, the Board of Selectmen does not have the power to go back in time to restore my rights, but it does have the power to replace the town attorney. I suggest to the board that it is time to do so, as this was not an isolated incident. I think if you were to review the events leading up to the termination of the fire chief, you will find several examples of legal advice you received that have not turned out well for you. As there is litigation pending on this case, we all know you can't talk about those, so I'll bring up other examples. How about the lawsuit about the chemical trespass ordinance? I see no record of the attorney warning the town that it was voting on a warrant article that had illegal effects. This is one of the duties of a town attorney. I do see we got taken to court over it, and our attorney lost in court. How about the Camp Rhodes lawsuit? While the Board of Selectmen were telling the public that they want the matter settled by a judge, why was the town attorney doing everything they could to prevent the case from coming to court? The attorney's failure to follow the board's wishes made it look like the board was lying to the public. Why did the board even think that this issue had to be addressed through litigation? Why didn't the board take the issue to the voters? Wouldn't that have been cheaper and easier? Or did the town attorney direct you to the method of resolving the issue that would generate the most billable hours? Did the town attorney warn the board that the town's legal position was precarious and that there was a high likelihood of losing in court? Or did the attorney just tell the board whatever they wanted to hear? Why is it taking so long for the town to come to a legal resolution with my neighbor Kevin Bassett over the precise location of an easement for a dirt road that goes through a forest? Kevin and his surveyor have had to show up at these meetings 3 or 4 times now for well over half a year, and to my knowledge, the attorney is still unable to resolve the matter. This makes the board look incompetent. Last but not least was that ridiculous motion to dismiss my complaint to the Right to Know ombudsman. It appears that the attorney gave no thought to how their actions might harm your reputation. You guys have a difficult job. Bad advice is making your job harder.
Thanks.
Any other public comments? Thank you, Mr. Bates.
Doug, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Kathy Sinthorn, 23 Blue Ridge Road, and I just want to make a comment about the man with the family with the well that's corrupted and polluted. If you look on the computer, you'll find that residential well, top end is estimated at $15,000. And that includes the well, the pump. I'm not sure about the pipe, but it's the casing. And you guys denied it because the insurance doesn't cover it. So I'm thinking we'd be a lot better off because the man alluded to suing. So that means more lawyer costs. And I don't think we'll get it, whatever a well would cost, because he also wants a hand dug well, which costs less. And if the lawyers get involved, the lawyer's gonna go for all the water they bought, all the stress, possibly the garden, dirt, and lawn. I mean, polluting and contaminating their well is pretty serious. Our employees, and I think we should be better off to show residents and his property, and we get out of it a lot cheaper if
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Eugene Reed, 345 Stage Road. I received a letter today from the town administrator in regard to impact fees and the queries from the select board to the lawyer in regard to the application and spending of those impact fees. I had a commitment from the town administrator at a prior selectman meeting that we would discuss, or she would supply me with the question that was going to be supplied to the attorney. As most of us know, the answer from an attorney can be swayed or predicated upon how a question is asked to an attorney. So at this point, I would like that commitment, that the board request that commitment be released to me as she committed to do. I know that the answer from legal can be protected by the board, but it doesn't have to be. I wish to see not only the question, which she committed to, but the answer for the attorney, because I did not get any details. The details of my previous discussions about impact fees relate to the Marston property and the fact that any capital improvement that impact fees pay to must pass the first hurdle, and that is the new development has to have caused the new infrastructure to be constructed. My argument to the board previously, and remains such, is that new construction, new homes, did not cause the well to be drilled. It was drilled to facilitate irrigation. It was drilled to facilitate under the guise of a community well, which I defy you to show any input to the town to say, hey folks, you have a community well. First hurdle was not crossed though. I'll go back to the first hurdle. The law says, and our ordinance says, that impact fees should be spent on items that are caused by new development. Second, I sat here before the board, and the board knew full well that not only had they spent the money for that, or approved the spending of that, they had also approved the spending of approximately, if I'm not mistaken, you're welcome to correct me, $21,000 for dugouts. Once again, the request for that should have been coordinated with a reason that new development caused dugouts. That's the first hurdle. We went on to discuss the second hurdle, which it should be proportional to the benefit accrued to new development. Anybody that has a home in this town that was constructed after 2017, I suggest that you check, and don't check with the town office, check with me, I'll give you the law. The town attorney, I hope you're taking notes. There's another well issue going on in town, that's at the dump, recycle center. That was unfortunately caused by an accident during maintenance there, let's call it. I had asked two things, that should be applied to the CIP. It fits the description of a CIP. It's a capital improvement in excess of $10,000, and it's going to last more than 3 years. It was not added to the CIP. I sat right there and brought it up to the board at the time. It's too late to do it now. So my question is, that well should be redone. My last estimate I heard was $26,000. Has money been appropriated for that, is my question.
Talk about the well at the recycling center.
He missed the first part of the meeting.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know he wasn't, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, we just actually got pricing for the new well at the recycling center.
How is
It wasn't
it?
26,000. Yeah, we had a quote that was over 20,000 from a local well perk company, which is well out, but the rest of them were 13,000. So it was half the cost of what the other guy, still a large amount of money.
How is it going to be paid for? There's been no appropriation, is my understanding. It hasn't been put before the voters. And I put it in an email to the board and to the town administrator, would insurance cover this, and because it was an accident. I never received a response on that. My question stands. Number one, where's the money coming from if we don't have an appropriation? I don't want to deny them a well, but let's do it right. Let's get an appropriation from, there should have been a warrant article. thank you for allowing me to go over the 3 minutes. I'm usually restricted, but I noticed that some of us have more to say than we can, Ben.
Well, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure,
Be argumentative, so don't,
bring it on.
not bringing it on, but asking a question.
Sure.
So due to anything that becomes a maintenance issue, all right, because something broke, like when the furnace broke and we had to pay for it, you know, we didn't go and write a whole warrant article for a furnace. But you're asking right now because we have a broken well that we should be writing a warrant article for a broken well?
I didn't say that, did I?
Well, it's-
I said that's one way to cover it. How else is it going to be
No, I
covered?
understand the pay first, but I'm saying that there's certain actions when something bad happens that we need to pay up front. We can't wait for a calendar year in order to fix a problem.
My
Now,
que-
where the money comes and make sure it's the appropriate money and the way it should be done, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying on that.
So my question
just
stands,
don't-
where's it gonna come from? I'll grant you that there are line items from which you can draw.
Sure.
So my question is, where's it coming from?
Well, before we had gotten quotes, we had talked about potentially using, I think we have 76,000 or something left in ARPA. We had talked about that as an option.
Does it fit the ARPA qualifications?
Our proposal is pretty vague,
Yeah, I understand that.
so.
Well, that would be great. We'll get it from the federal government rather than putting it upon the local taxpayers. That would be the first way to go.
And those funds have to be used by the end of this year.
At least appropriated.
Yep.
Who appropriates?
We do.
You don't appropriate. The legislative body appropriates. You can designate.
Right.
Where did the money come from to pave the Marston Lock parking lot?
That would be an Ellen question.
I thought they were doing a paving project in the area.
They were.
Had excess, right?
Yeah.
No, we paid, they weren't giving it to us for nothing. About that, we know there was a cost, it was a largely reduced cost, and there was a price that was,
It was done under the previous board.
Yes.
but I don't, we'll find out for it, because I just don't recall totally right now, that I wasn't prepared for this question to look it up, but that's a simple question, we can tell you how we paid for that. I mean, it's right there,
Was that
Betsy can
opera
probably
fund?
tell you tomorrow exactly how we paid for it. Because she would have the record for it.
I
just don't-
suspect it came out of
I
highway.
don't recall out of the,
I suspect, and I could be wrong, the highway line item.
could've, again, I just,
And if it did, can't speak for everybody in town, but we need as much as we can get for the roads in town. The Marston parking lot was not approved by the voters. The road
again,
maintenance
now we're
fee.
speculating. You don't start speculating on me and saying it was paid out of there, because we don't know yet.
I said, and I agree with you. I am speculating. I'm not only speculating, I'm relying on a comment made by a town official.
Okay, well, with me, so.
My speculation is possibly, I might have misunderstood, but I think I have it right.
Again, I just don't want to, I would again, Gene, you know, I'm known you for your accusation to something that.
It wasn't an accusation,
I understand.
but it's important to respect the voters.
Sure.
And spend money according to how they want it to be spent. It's important to respect the accounts of people that have paid into an impact fee, and most of them don't even know it.
know.
Because because you have one. And I appreciate the fact that you're willing to donate it, if you will, without any contest to use this in the town. That's
Remember that, yeah, nice.
I certainly do.
Yes, good.
Right here. I haven't lost it yet. So, that's all I have to say for tonight. There'll be more. Thank you. And
No other questions or
Gene,
comments?
did you have that just handwritten, or did you have that next to your PDF file, all the statements you just made? Or is it just handwritten, what you have?
it's handwritten, but I can give a,
Well, I took some notes here, just wanted to make sure that my notes and your notes were the same. So I would get
how about if I
to
send an email tomorrow and copy the whole board?
it. Perfect.
How do I apply for the secretary job? Qualification, I beg your pardon?
Like any position, Gene, it'll be posted online. You're welcome to apply. We're an equal opportunity employer. I encourage you to apply.
Thank you. I look forward to working in there.
That wasn't an offer of employment.
Nor was mine.
And remember, it's the administrative assistant and assistant coordinator, not a secretary. Just to be,
All right. If there's no other business, please state your name and address, sir.
Jay Vilchuk, 106 Mountain Road, Nottingham. Like I brought up on Saturday, a very similar situation exists in this room. Similar to the gymnasium of the school, holding meetings in this room is in violation of state fire code. You have an outdated assembly permit that hasn't been updated, and it's not signed by the current fire chief. I'd appreciate if you look into it. There are many of those around the town here.
is that done every year?
It's an annual requirement.
Thank you, Mr. Vilchek.
Thank you.
No other business, we will go into non-public.
I'll make a motion, we move into non-public under RSA 91A:3 to A and C. Yep, absolutely. A is the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee of any charges against him or her unless the employee affected has a right to a public meeting, requests that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. That's A. C is matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application of a fee, fine, or other levy A of the applicant.
So you're going under C,
A and C. Correct.
that specifies that the person that is being subjected to a volunteer to a non-public meeting, I could talk about. So my question is, has that person been advised of their rights of the 91A discussion?
Request was made.
In the past, I don't think people, for disciplinary reasons, have been advised of the law. Unfortunately, something that should be afforded to those that are called for non-public.
Thank you. Motion made.
You have a second?
Second?
Okay, motion made by Tim DeBrio, Steve Welch, roll call.
Aye, Steve Welch.
Hi, John Moran.
Aye, Tim DeBrio.
Okay. We'll be entering non-public. Thank you for those in attendance for joining us this evening, and thank you, Nottingham. Have a good night.